Hello, I'm Nibir with very long hair. So much that I have to wear a hairband and get teased a lot. But either way, I'm here after giving my second JEE attempt this year. So, woohoo! And so, just because I'm gonna give my honest review on JEE, given that I'm not a JEE aspirant. I hope a lot of you know that, even if you don't know, like, I'm not a JEE aspirant. I had no idea I'll even give JEE. Like, I made the decision about 3-4 months ago. So, great. So, this conversation, this whole video is just from my perspective as you can say rebel, you can say experimentalist, you can say someone who makes bad decisions, or you can say philosophy nerd, whatever. So this is just, my opinions and my experiences, and this is just a documentation, okay, of me being a kid who likes to learn, who wants to learn, but cannot find himself to, give entrance exams like JEE or just, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so like that. If that sounds very familiar to you, if you're someone like me, then this video will probably be a nice, way to, reflect on things or maybe understand, like, if your future's gonna be like me, pathetic, I suppose. Hey, no, my life is not pathetic. All right, neither is yours. Anyway, so you may learn something or not. I'm just here to yap. I have my sparingly, made notes here, like the scripts, whatever, not a script, but just key points. So I'm gonna look on to my monitor once in a while. I hope you don't mind. And again, might be long. This video, this might be long. So get yourself some popcorn or camera if you like to eat a camera. I don't know what your diet habits are. Either way, just get them and sit down or lay down, whatever. So, first things first, let's talk about the in-situ experience, or insight experience. Just going there in the center, sitting down, what something looks like a call center, just not exam center. It's like a call center. You've got your cubicles all over the place. You're gonna sit there and type on your computer, and that's it. There'll be multiple rows of that shit. So it feels like I'm a corporate slave or something like that. When you just go, there will be some check-ins, some stuff. My first time, it was like, okay, hey, open your muffler, all right, hey, let me see you. They didn't believe me it was me, something like that. But this time it was chill, photo, gone, done. Okay, that's something like that. Cool enough. After that, there has a check-in kind of thing. Once you go in, you kind of have to register your seat. So they take your biometrics again and again, and then you get your seat. But what happens to a few people is something called biometrics mismatch. Basically, your stuff, thumbprints, whatever, doesn't get matched with your Aadhaar or whatever you've set, and then you're supposed to wait. You're supposed to figure it out. You're supposed to get frightened and scared and nervous. Oh man, what's going to happen? That happened to me twice. Every day, like previous try and this try as well, like attempt. It happened to me. What happens is that my skin is very weird, all right? It oscillates between two extreme states. Listen to this. My hands are either too damn dry or they'll be too damn sweaty. So there are two states, never in the middle, never in the middle. No one can ever get my fingerprints. This is why I cannot even unlock my own phone, all right? I have to type in the pin every time. So that's a very, it's very not convenient. Okay, so very inconvenient, and like my Aadhaar cannot register stuff. Okay, every time my fingerprints doesn't get registered, so I have to wait. The first time it happened, I was like, All right, let's just wait and see what happens. And then I met one of my friends, like I met a new friend while waiting there. I was like, hey, you're unworthy as well? Yes, I'm unworthy as well. Something like that. Like unworthy mean like his fingers also didn't register. Like that kind of. I'm rambling here. Sorry about that. So yeah, um, but it's pretty okay. Stuff happens, right? You can have skin issue. You can have, I don't know, something. I suppose it's normal. But what matters is that you should be able to give the exam, right? That's what you're there for. And they let you give the exam, but the only catch is that you have to sign a form. Okay, fill out a form. It's some pro forma, something, and they bypass your Aadhaar, if that's the authentication method you're using. They bypass your Aadhaar or whatever biometric like system they're using, and so they, like they have to do that just before the exam starts. So like everybody's sitting in their own place, everybody gets their computer, their seats, but you have to sit somewhere else and keep on waiting and waiting until like 10 minutes. There's like 10 minutes left to the exam, and then you're supposed to bypass. They will do the bypassing stuff for you so that you can get the thingy. So all in all, people get scared in that moment. Last time I was like there were like 10 people like that. Okay, 10 people waiting to get their Aadhaar bypassed. So they were like pretty, scared, nervous. What's going to happen? Am I not going to be able to give the exam? Second time, like also there were 3 people. Like I was like, chill. I knew it was going to happen. I knew my fingerprints are shitty, so I already was prepared. I was like, chill. All right, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm invincible. All right, that was my thought process. I like send the form, and like one guy was asking, hey, do I do this, do I do that? And I was like, yeah, you do that, you do this, I felt like I was a messiah. I have a messiah complex, probably. Either way, so after that, like we were pretty okay. I was like, I knew that okay, things are going to be all right. I knew that everything's going to be all right. Other is going to be bypassed, everybody's chill. But the thing that like scared me out this time is like there were like only 7 or 8 minutes left to the exam, and they were still not bypassing my Aadhaar. I was like, bro, like to the exam staff, is it done yet? Like, is it time yet? Please, ma'am, please do this. Okay, I'm like scared. I was trying to humor myself by laughing, trying to make the moment like funny, I suppose. That's how you cope with things, especially me. So I was like trying not to give myself the scare. So I prepared myself at that moment that okay, Nibir, you only have 5 minutes. You will probably only have 5 minutes. You'll need to find your seat, go there, sit down, prepare your environment so that you can give the exam at peace. You know that. So prepare yourself for that. So I prepared myself. I was like taking deep breaths and so on and so on. So yeah, there's that thing. Okay, the Aadhaar bypass things. I did not know that before I went into the exam for the first time. Not many people know that. One of my friends who was giving this attempt had to go through this, and he was like so nervous that he made a lot of the questions wrong. Like he attempted the questions wrong or didn't attempt because he was so nervous, right? So that takes a toll. I think the NTA should give like something like a warning, I suppose, or some declaration, I guess, about this, about what happens if your things does not match. Yeah, they don't do that, and that's pretty shitty. You know what? If you want me to make another video in depth about how the process happens and what they do and how you're gonna go through it, just type it out in the comments. All right, I'll do it. Okay, I'll do it. I'll make another video. After that, after going through the whole bypass thing, I was like sitting there in my bench. Sorry, not bench. computer cubicle like a corporate slave. So I was there and I was like wishing people good luck, right? Like a good person. I like to consider myself a good person, even though I make, you know, I do shitty things a lot. Either way, I was like, good luck, man. Good luck. Good luck. Yes, good luck. All right, great. And we give the exam. The first time around, my person on the left was cheating from me. Yes, he was doing that shit, all right? And I was so damn angry. I was like, okay, they give you rough sheets, okay, to do your stuff, to do your rough stuff. They give you pens and rough sheets. We can solve it out, I suppose. Um, he was looking onto my paper and onto my answer, the computer screen. I got so upset that I just wrote down politely, okay, that I would really appreciate if you didn't look and if you didn't cheat. Okay, I'd like really appreciate if you didn't cheat. And he turned his head for a second or for a minute or two, and he was like busy. And then again, after 5 minutes or so, he was like, like that. Unfortunately, I did not want to, like bombard on him, or snitch on him or rat on him. I did not want to give myself some more trouble, some more cognitive thingy, even though it was like fucking with my brain. All right, it was like, man, this guy is cheating from me. This guy's fucking cheating from me. I was angry. All right, first time around. Yeah, that things happen, man. Even if you're not prepared, these things are gonna happen. You're gonna find someone who's a jerk. You're gonna have to deal with the jerk, or maybe you're gonna find a good person. Like this time it was okay. He was like busy, like the person on my left was busy doing his own thing. He was pretty cool guy, and we talked after that. Very nice person. So yeah, it depends, man, but you gotta be prepared for that kind of stuff. Unfortunate things happen, and it's the reality. Again, coming on some weird, maybe, but subtle nuances. There's this interface, right? Like where you're supposed to give the exam. It has a dark mode, so make sure to go up there in the accessibility settings and click on that dark mode. Kaboom! You can increase the font size as well if you want. I find dark mode really, really nice. I use dark mode literally everywhere. I hate people who use light mode, even though one of my very closest friends use light mode. So maybe an exception. All right, so dark mode, very well. You can also skip around the problems. I did not know that. I knew it I got to know it 4-5 months ago. Like before that, I did not know how the CBT things happened because I did not take coaching or whatever. It's like the physics, chemistry, math thing are divided into parts, sections. You can skip around, attempt anything. They'll be storing the things in their places. If you tick one, save, normal stuff. If you're fairly if you think you need to give JEE and just made a spontaneous decision like me, then you're gonna have to give some mock exams to get an idea of how this computer system works. But it's pretty foolproof, I'd say. Everybody can just figure it out like in their first time, to be honest. It's like very, very, very easy. But these dark mode shit things, they are pretty hidden. Nobody knows. Okay, so it might help if you have bad eyes like me. Okay, that's about the insight, in situ experience of the center and so on. Yeah, let's move on to my preparation. The thing is, I was not prepared. Just putting it out there, I was not prepared. I was not ready. I know that I don't know shit. Okay. Did I say that right? Yeah, I know that I know nothing. Okay, pretty Socrates of me. But yeah, I know that I know nothing. Almost very unprepared. Definitely not from zero. I was like not in the zero. I was like in the 70-80% mark of everything. I tried to cover as much as I could, but you know what? I could not get coverage, okay, like depth of more problems. Now the thing is, JEE problems are really easy. Yes, just I'm saying it, okay, like to a person who has not gone to coaching or not done shit, just relying on his natural ability to understand things and being good at studies naturally, okay, no tuition, no shit, okay, no coaching, whatever, it was pretty easy for me. But the problem lies in the fact that you have to do a lot of pattern matching. You have to have a superior memory, superior recalling capacity. You have to memorize a ton of shit. They can give anything from out of the blah blah blah. You need to be able to solve problems and connect topics and just put them together. It's like a puzzle piece, right? You need to be able to do that, and for that you need time, and you need to do a lot of practice, a lot of questions, a lot of practice. You need that. I didn't do it. Okay, I didn't do it. Okay, that's the biggest mistake that I did. Okay, I didn't do problems. I didn't do stuff. Okay, and it was just a very sudden decision, like to give the JEE. If I knew that I'd give JEE in after 12 ends, and okay, that's how my like things are going to go, I would probably do it. Okay, I'd probably start doing mocks and practicing JEE questions like around August or even like early October, September, something like that. That would have been really beneficial, and I would have done much, 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 much better. But I didn't, and the shit went crazy. It was like thinking about, say, an airplane. All right, it was like thinking about an airplane. What's an airplane, and without even hearing or knowing about an airplane. So how can you do that, right? You cannot even think about an airplane if you've never heard the word or seen or even like know about it, right? It was like that for me. I was literally incapable of thinking about how's my life gonna go after 12, something like that. Yeah, something like that. Also, my system of studying and stuff fell apart during like November. I think I've talked about that in my January updates video. Everything fell apart. I was like pretty depressed and stuff like that, and I had to do some ad hoc stuff to make things happen for now to get better grades in pre-boards and stuff. So I lost the ability for focusing on long-term targets like JEE or entrance exam, whatever. So I lost that. So my external scaffolding just went kaboom. All right. So that was the reason I could not do better. But I know now what I'm supposed to do to get better grades or do better in the future entrance exam. I know that I have to do X and Y and Z to target specific things, and how I should do better at them, I suppose. Okay, that's how I'm gonna put it. And for a lot of people, because as I said, things need time for you to figure out, to get those patterns into your brain and those heuristics, those problem solving ideas into your head and doing stuff. People consider dropping out to like give them an edge and get better percentile or whatever. But for me, no, I cannot. I simply lack the discipline and the willpower needed by droppers. I cannot. I'm like, okay, it's like subjecting myself to a millennia worth of torture, of solitary prison. Okay, it's like that for me. I'm like, some people take 3-year drops to get somewhere. Some people take my cousin is taking a drop and like they do well. Okay, some people do well, most people don't. That's like the statistics. Most people don't. But for me, I'm like morally, intellectually, physically incapable of putting myself at that place and being stagnant and just revolving around the single thing. I cannot do that. Not for me. I'm just gonna uh, accept whatever happens. Okay, I'm just gonna accept whatever happens because I don't have any constraints. I'm not going to do engineering. I don't want to do that. I'm not constrained to that. I will do BSc, BS, and whatever. Okay, I'm okay with that. I just want to study. All right, I just want to study something that I like. Math, computer science, physics, whatever. It works. Okay, and there's just too many goddamn exams. I'm damn sure I'll get somewhere, right? I'm gonna get into a good institute. I'm sure of that. Central universities, done. All right, you got ISERs, you got, NISERs. I guess there's only one NISER, I suppose. But yeah, you know this, right? There are like way too many universities and colleges to go to. So it's like you can be somewhere, and I'm sure that I will be able to go somewhere. I may not be at my best. I may have done some pretty weird shit in like past 6, 7, 8 months. I may have made pretty bad decisions. I may not be in my best intellectual or mental state. But as they say, घातक हूँ इसीलिए. Sorry, fuck. Okay, I just messed up fucking quote. Yes, घायल हूँ इसीलिए घातक हूँ. Yeah, I watched Thurandar with my mom last night. It was pretty fun. But yeah, I just messed the quote up. Yeah, like I'm not letting go of the fight yet. I'm gonna fight. I am gonna seek the knowledge that I want. I'm gonna do my best to be myself, right? There's just more to live for. I have yet to learn philosophy from computer science. I have to yet get some muscles. My forearms are pretty fucking thin. All right, so I've too many things to do, and like it is sad, pretty sad. It's very pathetic that we live in an overpopulated country with some which society values some ridiculous metrics over some other, and cannot, like, I shouldn't even mention the poor quality of education system, but all right, everybody knows that. But not exams are supposed to be the means, not the ends. Still, even though they are like you need to give them exams, you need to give those exams and that, you need to give that to get somewhere. They are still the means, not the ends. You don't have to become your exam. All right, you have to give the exam, but you don't have to become the exam. You don't have to sell your soul, not yourself. You don't have to beg for anything. All right, and you just have to become yourself. And that's the process where you actually get to know stuff, where you actually get to know the truth about this world, where you actually do shit, where you do something that's worthwhile. The process of becoming yourself, not your exam, not something. May take some time. I think I have a bad tongue. Okay, it may take some time, but I think it's worth it. Like, I think it's worth it. I know, like, for me, giving my example, I know that, okay, I have to get somewhere good. I cannot be just rotting around in the house, right? So I know that I have to get, say, something grade in something exam. Okay, I have to get, say, 220 in IAT, for example. All right, say I've decided that. That's different from like, you can still do it, right? You can still do it. You can still learn because you like it, because you're interested, because you've gained something. Okay, because you've developed an interest or something. You can do that without being, becoming like obsessed with that metric, with that goal. I think it's pretty awful that some people have to, I should not say they do it because they want to. I think they have to. Most of them have to choose goals like getting 99.999 percentile. Otherwise, they cannot be anywhere. I don't think it's like that. I think it's just the society uh, at doing its stuff, what it's good at, right? Uh, like making sure you don't get to be yourself, right? Making sure that you become what others want. I think it's time to go anti to that. I think a lot of people have already said this and made videos on this, but yeah, I was like, still, all right, still you gotta. There's a duality here. You've gotta still give the exam and go there because that's what society wants as well. Crazy shit, right? Like I was what happened is that we have geysers, right? Water heaters, geysers in the bathroom that heats the water, and like my mom was saying, "Hey, it's not turning on. Like the LED is not on. It's not on. Okay, something's gone wrong." And when she discovered that it was okay, it was doing its stuff, just the LEDs were not working, stopped working. So I thought of the geyser as a human, right? Just a philosophical thought experiment, you can say. What's its purpose? What is the purpose of a water heater? To heat the water, right? To heat the water. But people see those LEDs, they're not turning on, and they think it's bad, it's gone defective, it's kaput, all right? But I don't think that's the case. It's still heating the water. So why are you looking at the LEDs? But that's precisely what the society does. It looks at those LEDs, looks at those LEDs. Those LEDs for humans are like money, status, gender, race, qualification, credentials, etc., etc. It doesn't matter where you're fulfilling your higher purpose of being a human, doing good, and so on, your ethical values, the stuff that you live by. It doesn't matter. No one gives a shit. What they give shits about is those LEDs, whether they're turned on or not. Whether you look good, whether you look like you have done something or not. Doesn't matter if you actually do it. Dikhawati dunya. That's what my friend Satvik says. Yeah. So, so what? Like, do you not seek your goal and just live in a world of make believe? No, I don't think that you have to give shits about it as well. I don't think you have to care as well. If they don't give a shit, why should you? Right? You should still go on, do your stuff, being a good human, be a better person, help out, and good things. Whatever. If you're maybe following a religious doctrine or something that helps out other people, or it's good, objectively good, something, do that. If you're aligned with some virtue ethics, Stoicism, Buddhism, Taoism, whatever, anything that's good, do that. Fulfill your higher purpose, do that. Don't give two shits about society and what they think, okay, whether you have your LEDs or not. But remember, those LEDs are real. People actually look at your qualifications or metrics or whatever and judge you. So it may be helpful to give yourself some sanity by attaining those things just for functional value, just for, just so that you can fulfill your higher purpose with a clear goddamn mind. Just because of that. No other goddamn cause. No other reason to get a degree. No other reason to get money. Just for sanity. I guess that's about the philosophy lesson. It was not in my script, all right? But just because of it. But inside, you still have to do that, fulfill that purpose. Not everyone knows that, neither do I. I don't know what my purpose is. I like to think that it's teaching, like motivating people. I like to think it's that. But, whatever. Just do that, and I think everything's gonna be all right. I think that's my JW review turned into philosophy yapping. Yeah, no, that's about it. You know, am I going to give JEE next time? Maybe, maybe not. If I'm satisfied enough, I don't give two shits. All right, that's about it. I think for the JEE aspirants, I think you guys are really, I did not. I was a person who thought JEE aspirants were super nerds, EU, but not anymore. I think you have something that I very much lack. I think you have this dedication, this discipline, this brute willpower, sheer willpower that I can only imagine myself having. So respect for that. But yeah, you do you, man. I do me. Yes, I do me, and I go play some music, I suppose, or whatever. Yeah, take care of yourself, nerds. Gonna see you in the next one. I don't know when. Maybe I'm gonna make a comeback. Maybe not. It's the mystery of the century. All right. Take care. 31 minutes. Peace out. Yes. Okay.